Hey everybody, good morning. It's about 8:55 in the morning on the 24th of August, 2021, and what I'd like to do, I'd like to take a look at the S&P 500. I'm going to focus this video specifically on the S&P. Later today, I will do an update on Bitcoin and actually alts in general. I'd really like to take a look at those, but that's going to be later today. Before I get into any of this, of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice, and my financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So today, again, one of the reasons why I want to focus on the S&P 500 is because it's doing something that we have seen over and over and over again. And that is, I use this trend-based fib extension all the time. And if you've watched my videos, you know that I use this all the time. And I always talk about the 1618 to the 175. I have a video that I did last year. It was in the middle of, we were all in quarantine and the markets were going up. And we were talking about, what I referred to as Algo City. And basically what that is we were hitting algo targets consistently, and it just happened again. I've got it up here on the screen. Let me see if I can zoom in. And this chart, most of this, 99% of this hasn't changed from yesterday. We were talking about. Let me just move to a 4-hour here for just a second so that we can look at this. We were talking about this upper, and we hit the upper rail here. I said that we're likely going to overthrow it, right? So from this low, it looks like we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're working on wave 5. And again, I'm still fairly certain that we're going to overthrow this, and I really didn't expect it to happen this week, but it might happen. It might happen. So at any rate, I do think that we're going to overthrow this upper diagonal that we've got. I do think that we're going to overthrow it. And I do think that target's going to be somewhere around 45.50, maybe 45.60, 45.65. This red box is where I've got us ending the move. We've got 5 of 3, and then we correct or consolidate, right? I would much rather a sharp correction for this, because we haven't had really any sharp corrections, right? In September and October of last year, we had some sideways chop, not serious corrections. And I think this is going to be kind of a sharp correction. We'll see what actually happens. But ultimately, I do think that we go higher. Let me go back to an hourly here. Now that we've seen that, we're talking about this ending diagonal, and ending diagonals typically end wave 5 in a throwover. And so, again, I believe that's what's going to happen. But the important thing here is, again, this is something that we've seen over and over and over. From this dominant pivot low here, we have a little high. We'll call it a dominant pivot high, at least a local high. And then we get the pullback, right? So, you can see pretty clearly that we've got, let me pull this up here. We've got on a 4, this is on the hourly. You can see we've got a nice little A, B, C here, a nice little correction. We can dig in here and get 5 waves up, 3 waves down. And then, we've got a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we hit our algo target perfectly. Okay. So again, free lesson for everybody here. Dominant pivot low, dominant pivot high, get the pullback. You've got 5 targets, okay? 5 targets. You can use them to take profit if you go long, right? Because was this a good long setup? I believe it was. I believe this was a good long setup. Dominant pivot low, dominant pivot high. What did we do? We went to the 618. We bounced off that 618. Those are some of the highest probability trades that there are. Take profit, you've got the 618, you got the 100, you've got the 123.6, and then for a wave 3, right? So 618, 100, 123.6, these are corrective targets. This target up here is an impulse target. So you've got wave 3 up here. So let me just go ahead and mark this because I think this is what we've got going on right now. So we've got from down here, we've got a 1, a 2, this is the 3, in my opinion. Then I believe we go down for wave 4, and then we go up for that wave 5. So let's just go ahead and put this on a We'll put it on a really small degree for right now. I'm going to change the color to white. Let's just see if we can map this out. All right, so we've got the 4. I believe we can all agree the 4 is in. And then we've got a 1, 2, 3. And again, we can count the subdivision in here. I'm not really interested in doing that right now. Hit the algo target at the 175, which also happened to coincide with this upper rail. Okay, this diagonal up here. Which, if you can see here, I estimated that we would hit this upper rail. So I'm going to move this now because I believe that the top currently is in for probably for today. I think we're going to see a little bit of a pullback today, but ultimately I do think that we're going to start consolidating, correcting. Now, how far are we going to consolidate and correct? We're looking for a target for wave 4. All right, so I'm going to keep this guy on here. I'm going to move him way over to the right because I don't want him intruding on what I'm about to do. So I'm going to move him over here because it's still important to have this guy on our chart. And I'll talk about that here in just a second. Okay, there we go. Got that. And let's go ahead and mark that 175. That's this guy right here. We're going to mark him. That's at about 44.90. And it did kind of overthrow just a little bit, but that's okay. So now what are we going to do to determine the target for a wave 4, right? So if you're interested in taking a long position, I don't think right now is the time for it. We hit that algo target. So right here, down at the bottom of this wave 2, to the top currently for where wave 3 was, we're going to estimate it pretty close. 44.91, let's see if we can find exactly where it was. 44.91.75, 44.92, I'd say we're pretty close. So we've got the 236 and the 382. Now, we came down to the 618 here. So I'm willing to bet we're probably only going to come down to the 236. I think there is going to be a sign of strength in this wave 4. So once we get down here to 44.63, I would say that that's going to be what's going to start our move up. And in my opinion, our last move up before a sharper decline. Although it is possible that we do come down to this 44.45 area, this 382. These are the two targets that you're going to be interested in for a wave 4. The S&P 500 has been favoring the 236 here recently in a wave 4. So it's very possible that's where we go and that's where we stop. Now, I said that I wouldn't talk about crypto, but one thing I will say is crypto does tend to move, generally speaking, in the same direction as the S&P. Now, of course, there are moments where the S&P does not move in the same direction as crypto. But in this case, I believe that we are in an area of confluence between the equities markets and also crypto as well. Once Bitcoin did find that support right around 30K, then I think that these markets do have some confluence. They are moving generally in the same direction, right? Some are going to move in greater percentages, but I think the general direction is going to be about the same. What do we have here? We've got the 12-hour, which is still moving up. We've got the hourly, which is, getting close to the oversold, right? The 3-hour is kind of moving down, but it's still in the bullish control zone. So I would say let this hourly kind of reset, and I would be willing to bet that we're probably going to come down here to the 236. Again, I don't think we're going to find ourselves down here at the 382. But I do think that we're going to be moving up. I do believe we're going to be moving up. And again, maybe it's going to be this week, maybe it's going to be next week. That's really up for debate. Of course, we know the end of the month is this week, right? Nope, we've got 2 days next week that are still this month. So, we'll see how that all goes. Right now, markets look pretty healthy. Wave 5, we've got really two targets here to pay attention to. If we get a truncation, it's going to truncate around 45.20. So it could be that we don't quite get there, right? But I do believe that the target that we're probably going to hit, because we are going to see a sign of strength in this wave 4, is probably going to be that 45.50 area. That would be where I would be interested in being a little more aggressive on hedge short positions. Now, I did say one word there, which is hedge, which means that my primary positions are not going to be short, but I am interested in capturing a low risk, high reward trade to the downside. So take that for what you will. This is what I think is happening in the markets, and likely this green projection that I did yesterday is going to need some adjustment. Ultimately, I think the target is right, but I think the timing is off, right? Because based on what I see here, we are ascending at a fairly rapid pace, a little more than what I was expecting. But I would say, this pullback, again, probably not going to come down as deep as what I had imagined, but somewhere in this area, 44.63, 44.45, somewhere around here. Then I think we see that last move to the upside before we start to see a steeper decline to the downside. All right, guys, let's see here. Are there any questions in the chat? I do not see any questions in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and end it. If this video did help in any way, shape, or form, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. And, of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, and a good